Yo, yo, what's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to Nerds on Culture with Stormy B Man, number 37 in the series of Nerds on Culture for this Monday, March 13th, 2023. And this one is an episode about the Dark Knight Trilogy. The three films that are now classics under Christopher Nolan, the film director and producer who has brought us many quality films. But these were standalone DC properties that Nolan brought his own specific touch to, and beginning with Batman Begins, followed by The Dark Knight, and then The Dark Knight Rises. All three films turned out to be classics, and the two sequels spawned such interest that they both joined the $1 billion club. So we're going to talk about these films a little bit tonight. The bit of an impact that it had on the industry as far as comic book films, the impact that it had on us, and hopefully for those of you who are participating out there in the chat, hopefully we have a few more people to come in and check us out. But even those who may catch us on replay, how it may have impacted you guys. We'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts about it. So, with that being said, and no further ado, allow me to bring my co-host of the show in with me. We got the brother Drew Titan, LLC, in the building. What's going on, man?
Salute, Sensei. Let's get it.
Yeah, man, the Dark Knight Trilogy, man. These films were well done. And there was tragedy amidst everything that happened when the actor Heath Ledger died just as the film was going into post-production, The Dark Knight, the sequel. And there were plans for Heath to be a part of the third film, and the third film was supposed to ramp things up to a even greater degree because the exploration of the relationship between Batman and the Joker, Nolan had big plans for that, but we weren't able to enjoy that. But looking back on these three films, what was it about them? And we don't have to talk about them in order or anything like that, but we're just having a bit of a review and a reminiscent of the trilogy itself. What was it about those films that impacted you?
This is gonna sound well, try and follow me on this. We know it's a fictional character we all know. There's been so many different renditions of the Batman character. Some were great, some were okay, some were comical. You know, you look back at the Adam West Batman. That's the comical part. But what sticks out about this series in particular is and just try and follow me on this, was the sense of realism. Although it's a fictional character, there's no Superman or no mention of him. There's no guy flying around. You know, there's it's just a guy. You appreciate the beginning with Batman Beginnings. You appreciate the guy going through tragedy, and they give you a backstory about how he became so skillful. He had deep pockets, and he was able to create these vehicles like from the imagination, and he was able to fund his own empire of crime fighting. He when I say sense of realism, when he came back from you know, working with Raja Ghul and all of that stuff, he came back and he got back into the good graces of the his empire, and he started working a job, and it was like it was well planned, well thought out. It was a realistic look. This was as realistic as a Batman could be. Nothing super, like no super duper stuff, you know what I mean? He could be hurt. It was a well-written story. It was more, dare I say it, more of an adult style look at Batman. And I appreciate these were three solid films. Three solid films. And I appreciate it. And Christian Bale, I was on the fence about him, but he pulled it off, man. He pulled it off. I really appreciated it. Yes.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder what the hell is Elon Musk doing, right? It's like, dude, you got all that money and everything. You ain't even trying to be a superhero. What's the matter?
No
like,
Iron Man suit or nothing. You're not trying to do nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
Nothing. Damn.
But yeah, I agree with you. The Batman Begins film is a favorite of mine out of the trilogy. Excuse me, because of the journey that it took Bruce Wayne on. Because, you know, dealing with the death of his parents, which the story has been told so many times, but the way that Nolan had Bale's Bruce Wayne internalize things, him running off into the night, giving his coat up to the homeless guy,
yeah,
and just looking to go out, you know, and just leave Wayne behind, you know, the Wayne name and everything behind. And I thought what was really interesting was like when they showed him and he was kind of on the lam and he was with the prisoners and stuff like that. He'd been thieving and stuff like that. It turned out that he was part of heist jobs that was stealing his own equipment and stuff, you know.
Right.
You know, fighting in prison and stuff like that. It was like
it humanized him.
He fell to some depths that a person could fall to, and I thought that was a very interesting take. And the way that Ra's al Ghul ended up entering his life, because of course he and the League of Shadows, which we would find out later is what they were called, but they had stock into having eyes on him because they knew who Bruce Wayne was, but it was like, why has he become a criminal, you know, and whatever. So they thought that they could even get a hold of him and use him for their greater good because he basically had resources, you know.
Yes.
He had resources. And see, some people may have gone over the head a little bit because it's an implied thing, but not necessarily a spoken thing. But it carries on in the third film when you see Bane come in. You see, because Bane basically still carried that Ra's al Ghul thing out.
Yes.
You know, he really did. And of course, his daughter, you know. But I thought it was well done, man. I thought that the first film that really showed, and do you know that Christian Bale, when he was hired to play Batman, he had went away to start getting himself in shape for the film and stuff. So he shows up on the movie set and he's like 200 plus pounds. And he couldn't fit the Batman suit because you know, when they designed the suit for him, you know. What? But check it out though, but not 200 fat pounds. He was in shape. He had bulked up so much.
Wow.
And he was like Henry Cavill when Henry Cavill played Man of Steel in the first film.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so when you see those scenes of him training with the League of Shadows, and he's standing on those piles and they're hitting him and stuff, and he's all muscular and bulked up. He was like that, but he had to drop that weight because he couldn't get in the bat suit when he was so doggone big. But
I didn't know that.
What they wanted from him. It's a hilarious anecdote about, you know, the making of the first film. He thought Batman was supposed to be some big
Yeah.
imposing figure like that or whatever. So he had to trim down. But he had got up to over 200 and plus. I think they said he got up to like 205 or 210 pounds, Christian Bale. Because he's not a big dude. But he put on all of that muscle and everything to play Batman.
Wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
They should have let him hold a suit, like a prototype.
Yeah.
Don't get past it. They probably didn't know he was going to get that big, but I'm going to tell you something. Those Hollywood trainers, when they get these guys in shape or out of shape for a part, they got some really good people to help that along. And I guess that person did their job a little too good.
Dude, it was crazy. And then, right around the same time, he had done that film, The Machinist, where he played that factory worker who starved himself and he got real small. He had got down to like 120 something pounds, bro. So he did like a 150 pound swing in weight. You know what I mean? But between those two films, Christian Bale, he's definitely a method actor, bro. He's like, but yeah, I remember reading about that and I just crack up laughing like I'm doing now to find out that, you hear guys getting fat or something out of shape, but no, he got too big imagine Hugh Jackman getting too big to play Wolverine. You know what I'm saying? That's what basically what it came down to. Christian Bale got so big he couldn't even fit in the doggone Batman suit.
He had to probably go back down like maybe 190.
Yeah.
And that must suck, because you're in the mirror, you're like, woo, I've never been in this good shape. Like, yo, guess what? You gotta stop.
Down big, son.
Don't do anything for the next month. Just drink some water. No more.
But you know what? If like I said, they use footage of him, like I said, in that when he was training with the League of Shadows, and you see him with his shirt off. That was him after all that work. But watch later in the film how he's still kind of big in those early Batman scenes, but toward the end of the film, he gets a little smaller. And then by Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, he's back down to being a normal sized dude. Because if you look at how big he was in the first Batman movie, and then you look at him in Dark Knight Rises, he was big as Bane.
It'd have been unbelievable. Like, yo, come on, he can't lose to him. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yes, sir, man.
That is funny.
That was really something worth talking about there, man. That's why I wanted to bring it out there because, and Christian Bale, man, he's a hell of an actor, bro. He is one hell of an actor. I remember when I first saw him in, what was the film where he played the psycho dude?
Oh, American Psycho.
American Psycho, yeah.
Great
and I was
film,
like,
man.
dude, I don't like that guy. And he was like, but you know what? That's when you know it's a damn good actor. When you have those kind of feelings toward the person, it's like that's just an actor playing a role, but he went that way, man.
The first Shaft with Samuel L. Jackson, the reboot. He played a racist white guy.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, what? But he played the hell out of that role, man. Christian
Everything
Bale.
He does, man. Like he was in that film as a kid. He played Under the Sun, and he was like 13 or 14 years old when he played in that film. And he's been around a long time since he was a kid. But he's one hell of an actor. Salute to the brother John Pounds out there in that super chat. He says, top of the evening, gentlemen. I was rooting for Scott Adkins for Batman / Bruce Wayne. He was going for the role heavy. You know something? Thank you for your super chat, John Pounds. We appreciate you. I felt the same. I was pulling for Scott Adkins when Zack Snyder was casting a Batman for Batman versus Superman. And Scott Adkins was my guy. I wanted Scott Adkins to play him because this was supposed to be more like the Batman from the comics, the Dark Knight from the comics, and the martial arts expert and the sleuth and all of that. And I was like, man, I hope Scott Adkins can get that, because I had watched him in the Undisputed film with Michael Jai White and saw him in a couple of other films, B movies that he was coming along. He's come, and I think right now he's a far better actor now than he was even back then when they were going up. But they did allow him to screen test for the role. They did allow Scott Adkins to screen test for the role, but of course they went with Ben Affleck. So
it's just like we almost had Nicolas Cage as this era Superman.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Ben Affleck, when people heard that he was going to be, Batman for that film, a lot of people was like, I don't know. But then I'm going to tell you something. Once I saw it, I was like, shit. He pulled it off. Matter of fact, his Bruce Wayne, we didn't see a lot of him, but his Batman was scary. And that's how Batman is supposed to be. I mean, I never thought of Christian Bale's Batman as scary, but Ben Affleck's Batman was scary, man. And I don't think they'll ever be able to top that warehouse scene.
Yo, that warehouse scene, when the police show up, and they were trying to figure out what's going on, and you see how he ran up the wall and out the door, but he was like on the top of the door, and all you saw was the back of the cape.
Yep,
that would have scared the crap out of me.
Yeah,
I'm like, nah. I don't know what that is. Get out of here.
You remember those ladies? They were being held, right? Well, they weren't really being held. He had freed them, but they were scared to go out. So when the cops came in and they were like, "Come on out," and the lady closed the thing, she was like, "No, he's up there." They was afraid, man. They was afraid of him, man. But and I love how when he exploded the floor and they looked down there, but he had already come up, because when he exploded, he went through the explosion. And they were looking down for him, and he was already, man. Let me tell you something, man. Zack Snyder, and I know we're talking about Christopher Nolan's Batman, but I just wanted to say this. Because we're going to have to get on Zack Snyder and his Snyderverse, but in a future show. But I wanted to say this. When I was watching that movie in the theater, even though it was called Batman versus Superman, I'm sitting there watching, and I'm watching how Batman is being featured in this movie. And I was sitting there saying to myself, Zack Snyder has always wanted to make a Batman movie. You could tell.
You could tell it.
You could tell.
Yeah.
And you know what? He did a damn good job.
He thought about that scene, those scenes. He thought about that since he was a child, man.
He probably did, bro. He probably did. But it was awesome. He did a great job. But yeah, let's get back to this Batman trilogy with Christopher Nolan. I like how you mentioned about it was, being like more realistic, but I think we can use, for the sake of it being used in the past, the term grounded. It was definitely grounded. And Morgan Freeman playing Lucius, helping him out with the gear and stuff that the Wayne Foundation or whatever had stuff. And I like how they had it like it was like they had dabbled in paramilitary stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where the Hummer came from, and the bat cycle that came out of the Hummer. And I thought that was an excellent thing to do, right? To make that come out of the car. Dude,
you remember Stormy when he hit the wall and it did the turnaround and went the other direction? I was like, oh man.
Man, that thing was like a tank. And in the first movie, when they was running him down and he was driving, and they was like, "He's on the roof, sir." Those cops that was chasing him, they was like, "What do you mean he's on the roof?"
He's on the roof.
The damn car had went up there, man. I'm gonna tell you, that's my favorite Batmobile. It is, because it's that sucker there, man.
They called it the Tumbler, right?
The Tumbler, yeah. And when he did that little thing to go down into the bike, when he click it and go down low. Oh, man, that was so cool, bro.
Man,
that was so cool.
That was and those little, not little, gadgets he had with the story it meshed everything together perfectly. You know, like I
Yeah.
said, there wasn't no super duper outer space things happening. It was enough to make you. It was more. I saw someone put in the chat that was the Frank Miller,
Yes.
like imagining of it, which was that was a damn good book if you saw it.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go.
downtown.
Frank Miller's, man, that was a damn good book. Damn good book.
Yeah, and the fact, like, you know, when we look at it, and they had trying to get Liam Neeson playing Ra's al Ghul, I thought that was pretty damn cool too. You know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I didn't watch, not watch, but I didn't read Batman's comics, so I was kind of unfamiliar with Ra's al Ghul. So the twist in the film played well against me, you know, because I didn't know that he was a Batman villain, Ra's al Ghul. So when he was mentoring him early in the film and he's teaching him arts and stuff like that, the ways of the, you know, league and all of that, I was like, oh, this is interesting, you know. And then the switch came later and I was like, oh, and that's what really makes it hit home too for like a person like myself that didn't know the source material. Now, some people who knew the source material, they may have felt a little bit different about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, it should have been more like this or whatever. But I like how he was teaching Bruce certain things and the art of deception, how to, you know, not trust your environment and all of this different stuff, you know, elements of survival, which is really important for someone like Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really cool, man.
It was definitely cool. It was definitely cool because for everyone knows, even if you don't watch comics, there's a handful of heroes that you know who they are without even, if you could be like totally not interested in anything, comics or nothing, but you say Batman, oh, I know what a Batman is. Spider-Man, I know. Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, and now Captain America. If you wasn't interested before, you're damn sure now. In the Hulk, all right. But if you ended up in this theater and you knew nothing about Batman, and you saw Batman Begins, you left that theater like, oh, I always wanted to know, how did Batman get so good at what he did? Hiding the shadows and tricking people, and he was with a clan that specialized in that stuff. It was as simple as that. If you didn't know, that's why it's called Batman Begins. You got an education on how do you get so good, and it was in remnants of like a martial arts film.
Yeah,
like a guy goes somewhere and he learns how to be this super duper killer, and then he leaves, and then 20 years later, the clan that he left is not coming for him. So it's not only one guy with all those skills. Now he got 50 guys with those same skills trying to kill him. You saw the Donnie Yen film, what was it, Legend of the Wolf?
Yes.
Jesus
Same
Christ.
Similar thing.
Jesus Christ.
See, those are typical martial themes for martial art films and stories, which and basically the League of Shadows were kind of like ninja. You know,
Yep.
that's basically what they were. But they had hands that reached all over into politics and
Yes.
and all types of different things, because that Falcone guy, you know, they were overseeing his operations and everything. We find out, you know what I mean? It's like, how deep does the rabbit hole really go?
That was like their Hydra.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, this is the part that if it was in a different culture, they would tell even more truth. But because we're in America, and America likes to try to portray or pull the wool over the common man and woman's eyes, that police have a grasp on things. No, it's the unseen hand that has the true grasp on things. And sometimes they'll let the law be the law but it's only because they allow it. It's like that unseen hand goes so deep that corruption could actually just run amok. But the reason that they allow for law is because even those who are corrupt with no line of discipline whatsoever, it will allow nothing to manifest at all. You know what I'm saying? So they keep that. But if you look at like in some of the Asian films, especially like the Chinese triad films or the Korean gangster or the Japanese Yakuza films and stuff, they let you know how the corruption really is. And it's like, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why when they, I told you to check out Infernal Affairs, remember?
Yeah.
And I told you, as opposed to the American version of that, which was the film with Jack Nicholson and Leonardo DiCaprio and what's his name from Bourne Identity? What's his name?
That's Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, yeah. That film was based on the original Infernal Affairs, but they couldn't go as deep as Infernal Affairs went because culturally over there, they were just telling it how it really is. And over here, they were trying to make it fantasy. You know what I mean? Make it like, we're just telling you a good gangster movie. No, man, it really goes down. And they took elements of all three Infernal Affairs films and put it in that one movie, The Departed. And, but I'll tell you something, man. As you said, it was a lot like a Eastern storytelling there. Ra's al Ghul was dangerous because Ra's al Ghul, basically, he was a leader in a sense, but he's only a figure because they all have the same goal and mindset and everything, training and everything. So even if you kill him, you don't kill the ideology.
Right.
Chop off one head and two more will take his place. You know what I'm saying?
The next boss will probably be worse.
Yeah. So that's one of the things. But Batman Begins, I liked it, man. I thought it was, pretty good film.
It was damn good.
The Dark Knight. And Heath Ledger, man. And I remember, because I'm one of those guys, and of course you know this by now, but when the films are in production and stuff, I pay attention to certain articles that will come out about the movies. I never look for spoilers. I am just not that guy. I don't care about spoilers. I want to see the film fresh when I go. But I listened to what they were saying, and they were talking about, man, you got to see Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. They said, you will not believe how he has transformed himself in this role. And they were talking about him for an Academy Award and everything.
Yeah.
When the film was winding down production, he hadn't died yet, but they were talking about he was so good. I remember Michael Jai White talking about him. He was like, dude, we were all on the set and we were checking this guy out and we were just sitting there with our jaws slacked, like we can't believe he was behaving, and took that character to that depth and everything. And, one of my favorite scenes is probably a scene that people don't even think about. When he crashes the party and Rachel is there at the party and him and his boys come in and he was like, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And he goes out and he looks at Rachel and he's like, oh my, he's complimenting how pretty she is and all that. And she's like trying to pull away from him, but he grabs her and he was like, you want to know how I got my scars?
Yeah.
And he reaches out. Dude, this had to be ad-libbed. The girl that played Rachel, what's her name? cause she was what was her name? She's the sister of what's her name, man? Not in the Dark Knight.
Shit, don't get me lying.
She replaced Katie Holmes. Katie Holmes was in the first film. Maggie Gyllenhaal. There you go.
Okay.
Maggie Gyllenhaal. He grabbed her by the face. He's like, "You want to know how I got my scars?" He grabbed her, and he pulled her to him real close, and he said, "Come here." It was like, dude, he said, "Come here." You know, when I was a kid, my dad, you know, dude, I was sitting there watching the movie in the theater, and I was like, this SOB is crazy as hell. You know
why I mean? So serious? I was like, shit. And you know what bugged me out, Stormy? What bugged me out was, I said, yo, I don't know if this would be the first like superhero movie that any actor will get nominated for a goddamn Academy Award. But when you watched it, because you was hearing about it, I said, it ain't that serious. And I went and I saw it. I was like, damn. He played that role, man.
Dude.
He played that role.
He was something else, man.
He was like, if we don't take care of the Batman, little Gamble here won't be able to get a nickel for his grandma.
Yo.
Michael John White playing Gamble. He was mad as hell, man.
No.
He hated old boy. He hated him.
They were like, yo, what the fuck? He opened his coat and he had the grenades.
Yeah.
And they were like, he's like, we better not fuck with this guy. He's serious.
They was like, well, if you know so much, why don't you kill him yourself? He's like, if you're good at something, never do it for free.
That's a line. That's a soundbite, by the way.
Yeah. Dude.
That's a soundbite.
Dude, that dude was awesome in that role. I wish we didn't lose him after that, because I would have loved to see him reprise that role, because I'm going to tell you something. I'm watching the movie. Do you remember at the end of the film when Batman had captured him? No, before they captured. Oh, man, there's so many good parts in this damn movie, man. Hey, when he was in that parking garage, and Batman had come up there, and he was standing off kind of like maybe about 20 feet from the Joker, and Batman and Joker turned around, and he saw the Joker, and the Joker sicked the dogs on Batman. He said, go get him. He sicked dogs on Batman. And wait a minute, I ain't done. When the dogs was growling and biting on Batman, he joins in and starts kicking Batman.
Yo, that's why the Joker is the biggest pain in the ass for him. He's the biggest pain in the ass. The biggest one. I'm going to tell you what my favorite scene was, though. When he left that goddamn hospital in that nurse's outfit, and he was walking away with that walk, and he's pressing the button, and he looked, and he's walking, and he thought it wasn't going to work, then the damn thing blows up, and he looked, he was like, he kept walking. I was in the theater like, yo, come on, man.
Dude. When he went over that thing and Batman caught him, right, with his grappling gun or whatever, and he was like, you just couldn't let me go, could you? He was like, we're going to do this forever, you and me. That Mark was a psycho.
Yeah, he was fucking crazy.
You remember when they had him in the police station?
Yeah, he was just sitting there like,
and the guy had told him, you killed so many of my my officers or whatever, and he was like,
You know why I like to use a knife? He said, it's so much more of a personal touch. You know?
Bro.
When they turned the lights out on him, and when the lights came back on, Batman was standing behind him, and he slammed his head on the desk. Boom! He was like, ow.
He was like, ow. Yo, you know what they should have showed? When Batman, after meeting him the first time, when he went home, he probably sat down in the cave, was like, damn, this guy's gonna be a problem. I might kill him. I just might kill him.
Listen, man, when Alfred asked him, he was like, what happened? He was like, I got bit by a dog. He was like, you look like a bear or something. Alfred said, he's like, it was a really big dog.
It was a really
Them
big
damn
dog.
Rottweilers. Man, the Joker sick Rottweilers on Batman. He was like, I'm going to take you down. I forget what dialogue Batman said to him, but all I remember was Joker saying, go get him. And he sent the damn dogs on him, man.
That was, he met his match.
He was like, he had everything covered. He had planted the bomb inside the dude's body, remember, in the police station?
He's like, he said the voices will go away. And they were like, what? And they opened his shirt. That was disgusting, man. That was disgusting. He found that one lunatic that sewed a phone into the skin. But when the movie began, he systematically had everyone double-cross everybody in a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, 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 until he was the only one left. And that's how the movie started. And I knew what he was doing. I said, man, it don't get no better than that, man. Great film. If you're gonna recommend a superhero film or a Batman film, The Dark Knight,
man.
That's it, man. That's it.
That was a hell of a film. Hell of a film, man. And I remember sitting there watching it in IMAX in the theater, because you know they filmed a huge part of it in Chicago here, right? So everywhere, like that bank scene at the beginning, that's right downtown here. That bank was a former post office.
Oh.
It was the main post office here in Chicago. It's down by Canal Street and what's that?
Oh, y'all got a Canal Street too.
Yeah. And it's a huge
Canal Street is
building.
Chinatown.
It's a huge building because the expressway runs under it. You know, it's so big. But I was like, man, that's the old post office, and I used to work there back in like '88, bro. I had a job there, man.
Oh wow.
And it's like where he drove that bus out. I've gone down that street so many times. He drove that bus out and went down the street and everything, right into a line of other school buses. Wasn't that cool how they had it set up?
Yeah,
Man, the movie was awesome, man. It was awesome. I mean, I cannot complain about all three of those films. They were awesome. But the Dark Knight was a special film. We got the brother Anthony Bolton out here in that super chat saying, yo, Stormy, you are absolutely right about the scene. It was all ad-libbed. And Maggie said she was terrified to tears afterwards. Even Nolan froze up. Hey, man, wow. I'm telling you, there was a lot of ad-lib scenes in that film. Because Heath Ledger, man, he had got into that character and was just like doing stuff. I told you Michael Jai White talked about it when they were on set, and he was doing some stuff like, holy shit, we didn't even know that in the rehearsals that wasn't even a part. And this most of what he did,
y'all sure that's Heath?
Stayed in the film. And I mean, you know.
Yeah, I heard there was some guys that was like, yo, like when they got into filming, they were like, we know Heath, and that ain't him. I heard he had people looking like, you sure that's Heath? That's a stunt. That's him? He played that scene, man. And he had people wanting him to come back. And it's unfortunate how, you know, How he died, man. That was crazy.
Yeah. He may have been taking substances to help him go somewhere that he didn't naturally need to go, and became, a victim of that stuff. But that performance was something else. I mean, we've seen actors do some great stuff, but that damn Joker, man. Remember him talking to Harvey Dent after Harvey Dent was jacked up in the hospital?
Yeah.
Because Harvey wanted to get up out the bed and get at him, man.
Wasn't that a unique thing that they did in these films? They always snuck in like what you call a mini boss.
Yeah.
Like it was more than one character in there, and it's like how they did Two-Face. When he was in a hospital, and he said, "What they call me, Two-Face," and then when he turned and he saw the other half of his face jacked up, I said, "Oh, that was good. That was real good how they did that. The CGI on that,
Yeah.
that was good." But damn, Storm, you gonna make me go back and watch that again, man.
Dude, it's worth tuning in. I'm thinking about watching it too. I just hadn't said it yet because, we have so many films that we go over and stuff like that. But that's why I thought, like, to talk about them, it's like, and not just one of them, but the whole trilogy, because they did something special, man. That was the equivalent of anything from the MCU. The equivalent, those three films,
Yeah.
And it was really, really something special.
I left the theater, and it's not many. I left that theater fulfilled. Like after you eat a good meal, like I sat there and I ate all the popcorn. I had a big old pissy drink, and I just sat there. I said, all right, let's see what they got. Then that was Batman Begins. I left there. I said, oh, that's dope. And then Dark Knight Returns. I was like, ooh, when I left the theater, I was like, man, that was a great film. You know what I'm saying? Third installment, same thing. And I said, man, this was a solid ass series, man. There's only a handful of movies that I could say that I went to the theater and I got more than my money's worth. Replay value.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Great film.
The first Batman film, Batman Begins, it was released on May 31st, 2005 in Tokyo, and June 15th, 2005 in the United States. June 17th in the UK, and the film had a budget of 150 million. And it made 373.7 million. That was Batman Begins. But when you talk about The Dark Knight was released in July 14th in New York, and 18th the rest of the country, and the 25th in the UK. And it had a budget of 185 million, but that was the one that brought in the $1 billion.
They got in the black really fast with that film. They made their money back, the first 3 days?
Big time, bro. Big time. That film was so,
you want to talk about a return on investment. The money that they spent out, they made that back in double. And Christian Bale, all the big actors, they probably got points on, I don't know how the contracts work, but for every sale or Blu-ray, DVD, or, these guys are sitting pretty, man.
Now, The Dark Knight Rises, which we'll talk about in a moment, it had a budget of 250 to 300 million budget, and it brought in 1.81 billion. So yeah, and that was pretty damn awesome. Salute to Todd French 600 out there in that super chat. He says Heath created a cult following after that. Hashtag real. Yeah, Heath was excellent, man. He was excellent. But as we go in, and thank you again, Todd French, for your super chat. As we go into talking about The Dark Knight Rises, they went out and they found a guy who could take things to the max as well as an actor, and that was Tom Hardy playing Bane. He did something that you don't usually see from an actor, but he actually became bigger than life in that role as Bane, because Tom Hardy is not a big guy at all. Dude, he's all of about 5'8". And the way they shot Bane, he did bulk up, but he didn't bulk up that much. But he was like, I think he got up to like 190 pounds or something. But the way they shot him on film, they always made it look like he was bigger than he was with camera tricks and angles and stuff like that. But he did a tremendous job creating that voice of Bane.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
To this day, I don't know how he did that, but it was one of the most awesome transitions that I had seen, equal to what Heath Ledger did as the Joker. But that almost Sean Connery with a mask on like accent, you know?
Yeah. I got something to add to that. That's first of all, us as Americans, if you're foreign and you don't know, we look at foreign accents. When you hear accents, there's certain it means certain things. For example, in Star Wars, when we first saw it here, the first 3 movies that we saw here was actually 4, 5, and 6 of the Star Wars trilogy. All right. Did you notice that everyone from the Empire had British accents and they appeared to be Nazis?
Yeah.
Like Germans, you know, that wasn't by mistake. So moving forward, this character Bane, he had an accent. Accents to us can mean several different things. Those types of accents could mean either you're super smart or you're just a gritty, grimy gangster type of person. The character Bane, not only did that accent suit him, but he spoke through that mask. And you heard him breathing, and it created a very terrifying aura, a very villainous aura around him. And the fact that nothing that Batman did moved him. Even when they were watching video of him doing what he did, Alfred was in the cave telling him, like, look, this guy's bigger, stronger, younger than you. He fights more ferocious. You're not going to beat this guy. I was like, Rocky IV. You can't win. When Adrian told Rocky, you can't win. And Batman was like, who would I be not to try? And when they first fought, I remember leading up to the movie. Now, if you're a nerd like us, we knew who Bane was already. But we was like, how are they going to pull it off? Who are they going to get? In actuality, Stormy, you know who I nominated to play Bane once I knew he was going to be in the 3rd film? Before they even started producing it. You know who I thought would be a good Bane, but I didn't know how good of an actor he was. That guy, Nathan Jones.
Yeah.
That guy would have been a perfect Bane. Maybe, and I said, what are they going to do? Is he going to juice up? Because it could have been him at first, but when Bane juices up, he bulks up. And I said the finished product could be Nathan Jones, but then I said, you know what? I don't think they're going the supernatural route in these films. They haven't done it, so they don't need to do that. And again, no knock towards Nathan's acting, but I think that the character, they were more focused in on that character. He wasn't just there for the muscle, like in the clownish 90s Batman film, when they had that wrestler Big Van Vader sound, they made him just a side character, no lines or nothing.
Yeah.
So what they did was I remember watching a commercial for the film, and Batman is backing up and he's tired. He got his hands up, and you see Bane walking towards him. I said, "Oh man, he about to kick his ass." And the voice talking through the mask, and everything was just perfect. And it made for like a scary kind of character. So I really appreciated how they worked the character. You remember when they first fought? And he was trying to pull everything out that utility belt, and he was calling, "Oh, I know what you're doing here." And when he threw the bombs and it exploded the little puffs around the room, and one hit him in the chest, and he said, "Oh yeah, I know what that is," and he just kicked his ass. And I said, "Wow, man, they pulled it off again." I really how they that wasn't the comic book Bane. That was a more of a human-esque type of Bane. He was just a stronger and more powerful guy on that level, man. I really appreciated that. That was dope.
And the production, because they were saying that this was the last Batman film, you know, that Nolan was doing, the production had given off the impression that Batman might die.
Yeah.
I remember them talking about that a lot, you know, and then there were some like spoilery leaks on the film that certain individuals had put out there. Batman gets killed by Bane in the film and everything. So that was actually out there. Let me take a quick moment and acknowledge Todd French, 600-second super chat. He says that voice was very iconic. Excellent development. Salute to you again, Todd French. Yeah, absolutely. And I remember seeing the trailers for the film before I went to see the movie, and it did give you the impression that Bane was gonna kick Batman's butt.
Yeah.
But when he picked him up and broke his back, that was straight out of the comics, man. And they actually put that scene in the film.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap. And remember, like I said, I hadn't read the Batman comics, but I had heard a little bit about Bane. I had heard they say Bane broke Batman's back.
Yeah.
So it was like when I saw the movie, I was sitting there like a kid in the candy store watching it, because I was like, holy smoke, they found ways to, you know, just like in the Marvel film, they found a way for Thanos to still do the snap, you know, because we didn't think he was going to get to do it. And then he did. And then he did. And it was like, holy crap. And people started disappearing. Some of your favorite characters was disappearing. We was like, oh no. It's like,
yo, that was iconic. When I saw that in the theater for
the first time, people were crying, bro.
Oh, that was like
crying.
Yo, when Peter Parker disappeared,
and he was like, "Mr. Stark, I don't want to go. I don't want to go."
And there was kids in the theater like, "No!" I was like, I said, "Uh-oh." I think they made a mistake when T'Challa disappeared. We was like, "Oh no, what?
We just got T'Challa.
We just got T'Challa. Why is he gone?" Oh man, that was crazy. But yeah, that's what the film did. That's what the film did.
It did. And when Batman's back got broken, man, and then he throws him in that damn prison where he was.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That was funny. I remember when he broke his back in the film. Do you remember the sound it made? He picked him up. He told him what he was going to do, and then he said, "Then I shall break you." So he bust his ass, he bench pressed him, broke his back, and left him there, and then threw him in that damn prison.
And did you see how he how he sauntered away with Batman's mask in his hand that was broken, and he just kind of dropped it like, you know, like flicking a cigarette. Man, Bane was a son of a gun.
He was a son of a gun, man. He sure was, man. He sure was, man. That guy, whew, solid. Stormy, I'm gonna watch the whole damn thing. All
Yeah,
three of them.
Salute to a phenomenal Mexican out there in the super chat. He says, first movie, mansion burned. Third movie, mansion burned. Yeah. That's true, man. Salute to some phenomenal Mexican. But that, you know what? I'm telling you, man, that movie was so doggone good, man. The whole trilogy, really, you know. The whole trilogy.
It was a solid film though. I loved it, man. You're gonna make me watch the whole, I'm a marathon watch the whole damn thing, man. I'm a marathon watch the whole thing.
Salute to Todd French back in that super chat. Appreciate you, bro. He says the story behind the venom gas was genius, excuse me, as well. Yeah, man. The whole way that Nolan planned that out, it was really well done. It was really well done. I mean, I didn't have any complaints.
None
About the Dark Knight films.
Oh man, they're beautiful films. And lots of replay value, man. A whole lot of replay value. And
the performances by the actors.
Oh,
you know,
man. It was Stormy. That's one of those films. Dare I say those three films are timeless? Can I say that?
Listen, remember when Bane attacked the stock market with his guys, and the guy tried to tell him, that little yuppie was like, "There's no money here. What are you doing?" He was like, "Then why are you all here?"
Why are you all here? Oh my God, man! You killing me now, man. That's funny, man.
And when they had Commissioner Gordon down in the sewers trying to chase them down, and he escaped by rolling over into the waterfall, and they were shooting at him, and they was like, "He's dead." Bang turned around, "Show me his body."
Show me his body.
And dude was like, "Oh, there's so many tunnels down here. He could have got away." He was like, he put the gun in the dude's chest, then took the other gun and shot him. Pow! Follow him. Pushed him down.
Bro, how funny was that? Yo. You know what? See, yo, Stormy, tell me that wasn't one of those scenes where the audience in the theater was talking for like another 30 seconds, like, "Yo, I can't believe that." I'm like, oh my God. Gangster moments in films, man.
He told him when they brought Gordon down there, he had his back to them. He was like, "Why are you here?" And they was like, "You heard him." They kicked Gordon, and he was like, "I'm talking to you." You brought him here?
Why is he here? I love it, man.
Bane was something else, man. He was something else. And then when they took over the city, and he was like, "We're doing this for you, the people." And they were pulling all those rich folks out of those high-rise condos and stuff, man.
For the people. We're doing this for you. Yo, when they at the football game and the running back was running.
Oh man. Do you remember the first time seeing that scene?
Yo, and you know, I played ball. And all I kept thinking was, had that been me, I wasn't a running back, but I'm like, yo, I can't imagine. Had that been me, I'd have been screaming like, "Oh!" Oh my God, I'd have been screaming like, "Oh, what the I'd have kept running. I wouldn't have stopped. That was crazy, man. Oh my
man. That was a well thought out thing, man. How they blew up the bridges so nobody could get out of Gotham. Nobody could get in. They were controlling airspace. They were patrolling the streets with those tumblers. They had raided the Wayne's armory and had all of this shit.
They were, man, listen.
He had his whole arsenal, bro.
They pulled out all the stops in that film, man. Damn, those movies. Now that we're talking about it, I remember, man. Those are some solid ass films. They are timeless, aren't they?
Yes,
You can pick those up
absolutely,
and watch
man.
them anytime. Those movies had everything, man. Everything. That's why we were so afraid. We went from that to to Ben Affleck. We was like, I don't know about this one. Different types of Batman, but appreciate them nonetheless. Now I'm wondering, damn, could we have gotten away with a standalone Ben Affleck Batman? I think so.
I think so, because you see, if you really think about it, not only did he take elements from the Dark Knight comics, I'm talking about Snyder here, but he also kind of followed in the vein of Nolan, but he made it more comic booky, but it was still of that same vibe, even down to the music. It was close to the Hans Zimmer theme, wasn't it? That funky XL theme was close to the Hans Zimmer theme. So he was working on it, man, Zack Snyder. And I think if they had just let him do his thing, that they would have caught up to Marvel quality by the end of his storytelling, because he said he had 5 films he wanted to do.
Yeah. Damn, I'm so mad that they didn't
do it, man. And even when they released the Justice League Snyder cut, you could see it was a far better film than what got released at the theaters. Why the hell did these people interfere, man? And I'm hearing that David Ayer's Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad, because the Suicide Squad is this other guy from Marvel that's over there now. That's his film. But David Ayer's Suicide Squad film is supposed to be every bit a different film and better, like Batman versus Superman and Zack Snyder's Justice League, because the Joker filmed over an hour worth of scenes for that film, and he's only in the movie for 9 minutes. Think about that. So the kid that played, what's his name, that played the Joker in Suicide Squad,
forget his name. He's
playing Morbius now, but with the long hair, I can't think of his name right now. Help me out, chat. But but see, those people at DC Warner Brothers don't know what the hell they're doing.
Nah,
and salute to Todd French one more time in that super chat. He says, criminally underrated in the comics. Hashtag no joke. Hashtag cook. We appreciate you, Todd French, man, showing that love this evening. Yeah, Jared Leto, there you go. Thank you, guys, for correcting on that, because we'd be talking and sometimes names just don't come to you right away. But Jared Leto, it looked like his Joker was going to be interesting, because first of all, he had steel grill, and word had it that Batman knocked his teeth out.
Yep.
And he killed Batman's Robin. So, and that was in Batman versus Superman that you saw the Robin costume with the holes in the shoulders where he had driven some spikes or something in him. And I think that's from the comics too, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
But the costume was standing up there in that glass case, and Bruce Wayne, Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, was staring at it, meaning that he hadn't got over whatever was going on with that. And Wayne's Manor had been burned down, and we never found out what happened there. Remember? There was so much. Zack Snyder, he was laying the groundwork there, bro, to tell these stories, and they just ripped the carpet from under his feet, man. I don't understand. I just don't understand, man. I don't understand.
I do. They don't like they don't like us, Stormy. That's what it is. It's us. It's our fault. It's, it made too much sense. So they don't like us, man. So I've made peace with that. and that sucks. If it makes sense, they don't do it. So this new we could do a whole other show about the concerns of this new DC universe, but I think it's going to be the end of them. But that's just me. You'll give me what I want as a supporter, then I don't really care what happens. How do you not follow up with The Rock's performance in Black Adam? The cliffhanger with Superman showing up. That you can go in so many directions off of that film. Why would you ignore? Okay. All right. Okay. That's good.
I know, man. I know. And now this guy, he wants to do his own thing. And he saved all of the characters and actors that played in the couple of films that he did, The Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad. All of those people get to come back, but everybody else is gone. And it's like, man, this is just ridiculous. And then he finally comes out and tell the truth that he's been writing the Superman movie for going all the way back to early last year. And that was way before the Black Adam film came out. And Black Adam fought to get Henry Cavill's cameo in there with him, and that was like after the film was really completed. And they did it because they wanted to draw more money at the box office for The Rock's film, not because they really wanted Cavill back, but they used Cavill, even telling him it's okay to go on your Instagram and let everybody know you're back and everything. Dude, if that ain't a lawsuit, I don't know what is, because they deceived the man. Stupid. They deceived him and they lied to the people.
Because he was looking forward to a check, if anything.
Right.
Oh, I'm coming back as Superman, that's great. Well, send me some,
he even quit his other show, The Witcher and everything, lining himself up to be ready for Superman.
This gotta be a work, Stormy. This gotta be a work. They gotta oh man.
And see, James Gunn, you know what I really don't like about him? He's acting like he's smarter than everybody else, and he's pretending like you guys got it wrong, you have no idea, this and that. Dude, we know when somebody trying to run game, and you did this and you screwed the people and you screwed these actors and actresses, and you need to get your penance for that. You need to get your comeuppance. And I hope that, and I've said this, I'm sorry, I'm hating on him because that wasn't professional. It wasn't professional at all, especially for a man playing a character that the people loved him playing, and the studios didn't bring him back, and they never told him he was fired. They just wasn't putting him in anything else. When they did the Shazam movie, they put a different actor in the costume, but just didn't show the head. Remember? At the end of the Shazam movie. But they say, well, Henry's still around. Well, why didn't you just put him in the damn movie then? Why are you playing this game? When they did the Peacemaker and the Justice League so-called showed up at the end, they showed the Flash and they showed Aquaman and they showed somebody in the dark hanging up in the air like they were Superman, but there wasn't Henry Cavill. So what the hell are you doing? You deceiving the people, bro. You deceiving the people, and you expect people to come and continue to come to the box office and pay money for this?
And they putting us through all these motions, man. Why would you build a universe or front like you're going to build the universe and just snatch it away from it? And you keep redoing shit. It's like, enough already. Stop redoing things.
Another Batman, another Superman, another this, another. It's like you keep starting over and over and over again.
But Henry Cavill is this era Superman. I don't care. It's like, when you think our era of Superman was, I'm sorry to say, it was Christopher Reeve. Well, not sorry to say, but it was Christopher Reeves, man. He fit the mold.
The only reason that Zack Snyder did not include Green Lantern in his Justice League is because they told him they were going to be doing something different with Green Lantern, and then they were going to put it on HBO or something. It was going to be a series. So he wasn't able to use it when he was doing his Justice League stuff. But I have a distinct feeling that Zack Snyder, he's never talked about this because he wanted to bring in the Black Green Lantern too, but he never said who was going to be his Hal Jordan. But I have a feeling that originally his Green Lantern was going to be one of two people. It was either going to be Armie Hammer, who ended up getting into those personal issues and problems, so he done got himself blacklisted out of the Hollywood or whatever, or it would have been him trying to bring Ryan Reynolds back as Hal Jordan. I really believe that. And that's just my personal opinion. But the reason I say that is because Zach understands how connecting universes is supposed to work.
Yes.
And Green Lantern wasn't as successful as they wanted it to be, but there were other films that made even less money than that, and they got sequels. But you had that whole thing about Sinestro, you know what I'm saying?
They left it
and they
hanging.
didn't follow up on that. And that is the thing that I really find a problem with that. Let me get to these super chats real quick. We got Todd French back in there again saying, hoping they do a Crisis of Infinite Earths. I don't know about that, man. We already saw that on the TV show. We saw it on the TV show. And they brought Brandon Routh back to play the older Superman in that. After screwing him over for, 10 years, 12 years.
They even had the Batman animated series Batman on there, but that was the real voiced by the real actor.
Right.
You know that was supposed to be him?
Yeah.
And he died like last year, right?
Yeah, he recently died. Yeah, the gentleman that did the Batman's animated voice. Salute to Mo Boxing out there saying salute Stormy and Drew. Hoping all is well. Salute to you, Mo Boxing. Appreciate your super chat, man. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't. You know what? I don't care if Zack Snyder, not Zack Snyder, if James Gunn's films come out, I'm not going to see his films. I'm not going to see them. I'm protesting. That's my protest.
You got to do that.
That's my protest.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something. I've been going to see all the films. I'm going this week to see Shazam, Fury of the Gods, because that's not his film. But that's that, and then The Flash, and then Aquaman, and then that's the end of the films that don't belong to James Gunn. He's made tweaks and changes to those films, but they're still not his films. So I'm supporting that because that's the end of it. And then after that, I'll catch his films on streaming or something like that. I ain't going. He's not getting my money, James Gunn.
I hear you. I ain't mad at you for that, man. But who the person that's bringing this, that's making these calls, man, they just are not keeping the hardcore fanatics, if you will, in mind, because we're the ones that spend the money, man. We're the ones that love the story. And you give us 3 good films like Batman Begins, Dark Knight Returns, Dark Knight Rises. We appreciated all of those films because they was as true to the comic book as they could get. Little things were changed, but we appreciated it. And then you take those films, and the Superman film was a great film. And Justice League films were pretty damn good. But to reboot that and put your own personal thing on it, that's ego, man. That's ego. And I'm not playing into that. I'm not going to spend money on your fucking ego.
And people waited for over a decade for The Rock to come in as the Black Adam. And he finally comes in, and that's it. You just cut it like, oh, we're going to go in a different direction. After releasing his film, people were looking forward to that. They were looking forward to him and Superman, him against the Justice League. That like you said, there's a whole host of stories that could be told with Black Adam, and they just dumped on us big time.
It's bad business, man. But it's business in itself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure if we talk to any one of those guys, they'll be like, well, it's things you don't understand. I do understand. Don't tell me it's above my pay grade. We know it works because y'all made y'all money back on all those damn films. And all we're asking you to do is to expand on it, not reboot it again. It's ridiculous. How many Batmans are you gonna do? Stop, man. Cut it out. Cut it out, man.
Even Marvel was able to acquire the rights to the other films that they weren't producing early, in the game, when they, like the X-Men films and the Spider-Man films, and they found a way to bring those actors into their current universe. The X-Men are still coming. We've already seen Charles Xavier in Doctor Strange. Even though he's a different universe version of Charles Xavier, it's still the same actor, Patrick Stewart, playing Charles Xavier. We're getting ready to see Hugh Jackman. We're getting ready to see Deadpool. We've seen Tobey Maguire and what's the other one's name? Spider-Man.
Yeah, the other British dude.
Yeah, we've seen all of these guys come back, and it's like they found a way to do it. You know what I mean? And it's like the fans loved it. Now that makes the fans go back and watch the other films and everything because it's all connected now. They couldn't do this with DC messing around. And how about this? We haven't spoke about this, but we need to do a show on this. I wanted to see what was going to be next with Zack Snyder's Darkseid. He looked cold-blooded, bro. Different from Thanos, even though in the comics they're pretty much the same people, but one is Marvel, one is DC. But I liked his look, I like his design, I like the gentleman that did his voice, and that whole thing, like when he does that projection thing where they show the flames dripping off of him and stuff. Man, that is awesome, bro. Zack Snyder is a visionary. He knows how to put together comic book visuals. He knows how to do this stuff.
He's a fan. He's a fan with a budget. He's a fan with a budget, and he's been blessed to get into Hollywood, and he's a visionary. And he grew up like how we grew up, reading the books, probably drawing. He's an artist, and
yeah, they say he draws all the storyboards for his projects. He draws up the storyboards.
The guy is awesome, man. The guy's awesome. It's like you remember when they first released when we first got this new wave of CGI, and we found out they were doing an Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah,
and they brought in Eric Bana, and that was pretty much it was a glorified version of the television Hulk series.
Yeah.
And incidentally, that's not a part of that. Hulk is not part of the MCU. And hopefully with all this Universal stuff, we don't see that one again.
Right.
The problem was the director. You remember who directed that film?
Yeah, he turned it into Brokeback Hulk. That's Ang Lee.
Ang Lee. And I said, and then when they into the audience, when they talked to Ang Lee, they said, how did they get you to do this film? Ang Lee said he knew of the character, but he doesn't know anything about the character. I said, why the F would you go to Ang Lee to do anything? Why? What?
The only thing he did great about that film was the way he did the editing with the washes and transitions from scene to scene. It made it look like a comic book kind of. Yeah. He did that a little bit, and then he actually physically played the Hulk in motion capture. But those are only two things that I could say he did. It was okay.
That movie had no replay value to me at all. None. I went to go see it, and I left the theater like,
Hulk fighting hulked out dogs
and stuff, and I didn't know. Was his father supposed to be a form of the Absorbing Man? I didn't know.
Yeah, that's what he was supposed to be, but they didn't even spend any other budget to make him into an Absorbing Man. They just had it, man. Like, whatever,
I was like, No replay value at all, man. But they got it together with the Incredible Hulk. They got it together because that Hulk was part of the MCU. That one was dope. The Ed Norton Hulk. That's right, Sean.
Well, let's give some final thoughts here, man, because I know you got to get ready for your show.
Yeah. Final thoughts. This trilogy rocked.
Yes.
They didn't waste any time. They brought them out back to back to back. Shout out to Christian Bale and all of the cast, man. Rest in peace to Heath Ledger. These are solid films. You don't have to know anything about the character Batman to sit through it to appreciate and have a good time watching this. This is what I call a true popcorn film. It drags you in, and there's high drama, there's in-depth story, and action.
Yeah,
a lot of action, and the action wasn't empty. It made sense. Everything made sense. So, man, I recommend this. 2 thumbs up and my feet. 2 feet up, sir. 2 big toes up. You know what I'm saying? So another classic show. This was a great trilogy to cover, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's going to be it for us this evening, Nerds on Culture. If you guys want to do something good, take your positive energy on over to Drew's Painful Excellence podcast channel, because he got that coming up in about 5 minutes. So you guys, thank you all for coming out. The super chats, thank you everybody. Todd French, I appreciate you so much, and everyone else that contributed to the show. I had a couple of subscribers on this evening as well. Welcome to the Stormybman channel. But this is going to be Nerds on Culture for tonight, Monday, March 13th, 2023, and we up out of here. Appreciate everybody. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we gone.
Peace.